Hey guys, this is Danny J from the Keep On Tolkien podcast.
This is Joel N.
And we're here to tell you about a little thing we're doing for the holidays called The Gift of Tolkien. Hashtag The Gift of Tolkien. And it's a little thing that we want to encourage you guys to give Tolkien books as gifts to people, because I was given The Hobbit as a gift from my friend Sam, and it changed my life. And obviously I wouldn't have a fucking Tolkien podcast if this were the case.
Right. If you haven't realized by now, we really love Tolkien's work, and it was the work that we got of his was gifted to us most of the time. I think my first version of The Hobbit was probably from half price, but I got a handful of Tolkien's work last Christmas.
From me, right?
From you.
From me!
And that's what really started it all out for me. That I got all sorts of stuff in it. It really deepened my love. And as you know, that's what we're trying to do with this podcast is share the love, guys.
And if you don't know, if you love Keep On Tolkien at all, to any degree, it is because we were gifted. Like, this wouldn't be a thing, guys, if not for giving Tolkien books. And we just want to kind of spread that around. So if you guys hit us up on Twitter or Facebook, let us know who you gave a Tolkien book to this holiday. Hashtag it The Gift of Tolkien. And we'll talk about you in either a further episode or we'll do one of our nifty new videos we've been doing.
We'll try to do a follow-up and just kind of keep track of what was going on, see how successful we were in our Gift of Tolkien this year. This is our first year we're trying to do this. Maybe next year we'll try to turn it into even like a fundraiser type thing. But
right, yeah, but... give a kid the copy of The Hobbit. Change his life.
Right. If you have an adult, give him an adult content book.
Yeah, give them. If you got somebody that's read the Hobbit and Lord of the Rings, give them the Silmarillion. Man, change their life. It'll change everything.
There's plenty of options out there.
Yeah, plenty of options out there. Plenty of Tolkien books. If you don't know somebody you could give a Tolkien book to, say you don't have any friends, that's fine. Just hit us up or donate to a library, or there's plenty of book charities out there.
Right. And if you can't think of some place to donate to, hit us up, and we'll try to help you guys and guide you to some places where you could donate some Tolkien books.
Yeah. So this holiday season, guys, whatever holiday you're celebrating, if you're celebrating with gifts, first of all, happy holidays from Keep On Tolkien.
Happy holidays, guys.
And
spread the love.
Spread the love. Give the gift of Tolkien. Hashtag the gift of Tolkien.
And as always, guys, keep on Tolkien.
Keep on Tolkien. All right, guys. Hey, welcome back to Keep On Tolkien. Hopefully welcome back. If not, if this is your first time listening, that's cool too.
That's totally cool. For our regulars, welcome back. This is our season finale.
Yeah, this is the end of season 1, episode 15.
If you've been with us the whole time, that's super awesome. If this is your first time, then I hope this interests you.
Yeah, and go back and listen to the other episodes. It'll make a lot more sense.
So today, this is our last episode of this season. This is going to be our finale. We kind of finished up the first stage with our last episode about Eärendil, which was pretty cool. Mm-hmm. And
this episode is for us.
Yeah, this is more for
this is for me and Joel.
This is more for us than, I guess, for you guys. Although we love that you're listening. That's so great. But from literally the very beginning, episode 1, we've been name-dropping somebody the whole time.
Yeah, if you've been keeping track, every episode.
Not every. No, almost every episode. We got within the first 7, we got every episode, and then we started missing some.
So I'm saying at least 13 episodes of 15 episodes, we mentioned this character's name.
Because he's a pretty crucial character. He's one of our favorite characters.
Yeah, and he's shit on by everything. He's...
Right.
They show him in the movie for 1 second.
And he's in the background.
Out of focus.
He doesn't have a beard.
And he doesn't have a fucking beard. Anyway, today we're talking about Cirdan the motherfucking Shipwright.
That's right, guys. This is it. You want to know, if you didn't already figure out who he was from listening to other episodes, this is what we're really going to tell you.
This guy is the best supporting character of all in all of Tolkien. Like,
right. Imagine if there was like a background Gandalf from like the beginning of Arda, like Years of the Trees, who's just always working in the background.
yeah,
He's just
he's
you always want to be this guy's friend.
yeah. You want to have the friendship of Cirdan the Shipwright. Yeah. So
Even Ulmo's friends with Cirdan.
yeah, even Ulmo's friends. With
I think he
Cirdan.
talks to Cirdan more than he does anyone else.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'm sure they hang out like pretty regularly.
So Cirdan the Shipwright, he was a Telerian elf, yes? Yes, a Telerian elf prince, dating all the way back. They're not entirely sure when he was born, although they know it was during the Years of the Trees.
Yeah.
The people are pretty sure that based on some information that he goes all the way back to Cuivién and where the elves started.
Right. So we're not too sure of his lineage.
Of his lineage, right.
So we don't know. He might be one of the first elves to awake. So he doesn't have a mother or father, if that's the case.
Yeah, there's no naming of his family. I don't think he had any kids either.
No, I don't think he did. The only information we really have about Cirdan is that he is in some way related to Elwë and Alwë. That's all we know. They say he's kin to them.
Right, so that means he's kin to those who paid attention to the Sundering of the Elves episode. He's kin to King Thingol.
King Thingol.
From Doriath.
From Doriath.
Not exactly sure how, but so he's been around about as long as anyone. But he also has a few names. A couple of them are Cirdan No Way.
No way.
No Way.
Son of Yes Way.
I had to throw it in there. Then Cirdan the Shipwright.
Lord of the Falas, Lord of Baelar, and the Lord of the Grey Havens in the Third Age.
Yeah, Cirdan pretty much hung out along the shores for almost the entirety of his
forever.
life.
Like,
yeah,
yeah.
that's what he did. I mean,
As
he was
soon
the
as-
shipwright.
Yeah, and as soon as that group of Teleri got to the coast, he was like, I'm good here. And there he stayed for many, 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 many years.
Right. So we know that he's been around since almost the beginning for the elves. A lot of people think he awoke in Cuiviénen. And then during the Sundering of the elves, after the elves first came to be, if you remember from the Sundering episode, there was the Great Trip, like the Great Migration.
Yeah, the Great Journey.
The Great Journey out west, because the Valar wanted the elves to come to Valinor. And along the way, we got all those folks that broke off and decided not to go. They stayed. And Cirdan was one of those.
Mm.
He was one of the Telerian elves that made it all the way to the shores of Beleriand, like the western shores.
Mm-hmm. And if this is at all confusing you, just reference back to episode, I think it was like episode 6, right? Sundering of the Elves. And that'll tell you pretty much everything you need to know. It's not a super popular episode.
We thought it was really well done. We were so proud after that because we were like, this is dense.
Oh, this is all we need to ever explain anything about elves, yeah. It's really everything you need to know, guys.
Right. If you need a point of reference for anything elf-related, the Sundering of the Elves episode, that's what you need.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, so listen to that if you're confused about the types of elves.
So Cirdan spent the most time in Middle-earth of any other elf that we can assume, being present for more ages than any other elf. And he pretty much went from the awakening of Cuiviénen in the Years of Trees all the way through to the Fourth Age, which there isn't even that much information about, but he was there.
Right.
It was said that he was on, one of the last ships to sail into the West?
He was the last elf to leave.
He's the last elf
Yeah.
to leave Middle-earth. So
And
he was there the whole time.
All in all, he spent around 11,000 years in Middle-earth.
Jesus.
Yeah. It's a long fucking time. I think it's 11,181 years or something like that. It's a long time.
I would not know that. Good on you.
Yeah, I read that recently. I was like, 11,000 years? What the fuck?
Another fun fact about Cirdan is, like his kinsman, King Thingol from Doriath, he too was silver-haired elf. But not just silver-haired, he also had a beard.
A fucking beard,
He had a
guys.
goddamn beard. Like all the elves that we talk about,
None of them have beards.
Yeah, they're pretty much all like clean-shaven baby face, but this guy's got like a silver beard.
Yeah, this is silver, and in pictures of him, it's this real dope, like guru
Yeah.
beard. Like it's
Yeah.
this thin, pointy beard of silver hair.
I imagine like a Doctor Strange kind of do up with a bit longer of a beard, just silver.
Yeah, just silver. Yeah, so he's a good looking guy as well. I mean, who wouldn't want to be with like the only elf with a beard, right?
Right. Badass as hell. And he was the best mariner there was.
Well, I don't know, maybe Eärendil.
But I mean, Eärendil was taught by Cirdan, right?
I mean, he did make the ship for him.
I mean, I guess we don't know. I don't know if Cirdan ever tried to sail into the west, but
He did not.
I suppose that's right. He didn't
Yeah.
until the Fourth Age.
No.
Okay, fair enough.
So yeah, well, yeah, I don't know. It's a wash.
Okay. Well, he was also Cirdan was also one of the wisest and perhaps mightiest of the Morroquendi elves. I think we mentioned earlier that he was one of the princes of the Teleri.
Mm-hmm. So Morroquendi, also refer back to that Sundering of the Elves episode.
Right.
Morroquendi means elves who did not see the light of the trees. So we're talking elves that never actually made it back to Valinor. Most, all of the Sindar, in fact, except Thingol, are Morroquendi. Because Thingol went there originally. That's also in the Sundering of the
And
Elves
he came
episode.
back.
Yeah, and he came back. He went there as an emissary way back.
Yeah, to check it out so that, not all the elves had to go there to see if it was okay or not. They just sent one there to check it out first. But he came back and he stayed. What does that say about him? Like,
Right.
he saw Valinor and was like, eh.
We fell in love with Melian, remember? He stayed for the
But he
love.
didn't leave after that either.
No, that's true.
He stayed.
That's true. Yeah, they did stay there.
And I mean, it's not like Melian wouldn't have been welcome there. She was a Maiar.
Yeah. She could just go back whenever.
Anyway. But also, an important fact about Cirdan that comes into play more in Second and Third Ages, he was one of the bearers of one of the three great elven rings.
Mm-hmm.
That is very important. He was the bearer of the elven ring Narya.
Yeah, Narya, the red ring.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, Narya and should we mention this now? I mean, we might as well.
Sure.
Narya is what he later gave to Gandalf, because the five wizards are actually Maiar, who were sent over in the beginning of the Third Age to watch this whole Sauron business. And when they landed, Cirdan the Shipwright, being a wise motherfucker,
Was like, oh man, this
Was
is
like-
a big deal.
this is a big deal. And then because they're more or less in secret. You're not supposed to know that they're Maiar. So he's not only has he figured out that they're Maiar, he knows that Gandalf is the wisest of the five. So he gives him in secret Narya, the red ring, which gives Gandalf the power to incite people to resist evil and tyranny.
That's right. That's how Gandalf gets his magical ring.
From Cirdan the friggin' Shipwright.
Yeah, so the rings really come into play big with Cirdan and such. He has a big role to play with the rings in the Second and Third Ages.
So yeah, well, going back to the first stage a little bit, we got a little bit ahead of ourselves with the rings thing, but we'll get to we'll talk more about that later. So Cirdan had played roles in almost all the wars of Beleriand in the first age.
So he kind of started out being a figure, of leadership in the first stage, and it was after Thingol finally returned. They knew him as Elwë previously when he disappeared.
Mm-hmm.
He saw Melian in the woods, and they froze for like years and years because they fell in love with each other.
Yeah, for many years.
Is that why Cirdan stayed? Was he one of the ones looking for him?
Most likely.
Okay. That may have been one of the reasons why he stayed originally. But anyway, after Elwë returned and rebranded himself as King Thingol, he started up Doriath, and Cirdan ruled an area called the Falathrim. That is of the havens of Elgarist and Brithombar. It's basically coastal.
Eglarist and Brithombar. Yeah.
Excuse me.
Yeah. So the Falathrim is what his people are called, which basically, as we learned, like Gondolindrum, like that just means the people of blank. So the people of the Falas are the Falathrim.
So he was a leader of those folks, and that is later, actually, he became an advisor to Finrod Felagund of Nargothrond.
Right, our favorite Mr. Finrod.
One of the most admirable characters.
Yeah,
period.
Yeah, we talk a lot about Finrod on here too. If you haven't,
Yeah, we're big fans of Finrod
yeah,
Felgen. He's
yeah.
pretty great.
Finrod and Círdan is like, they're the shit. Like they're
I think
the best.
Finrod, Círdan, and Huan are probably my 3 favorite.
Yeah, exactly. So as the wars of Beleriand were heating up and not looking so good for the good guys, Círdan actually built several messenger ships at the request of Turgon of Gondolin, our friend. And he was sending people over to Valinor essentially to ask for help.
Right, and this is after the Valar blocked the way back. This is after all that business with the Noldor, and they're like, you guys are banished, you can't come back. So the waters are I don't want to say they're cursed, but they're
definitely innavigable.
Yeah, they put some kind of enchantment on the water so you can't really sail across them. There's storms and winds and fogs, and you just can't find your way there.
Mm-hmm.
So naturally, even though Círdan sent out 3 of his sailors, none of them made it.
Yeah, and one of them came back.
Yeah.
Varanwe, who we talked about in the Tuor episode.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Varanwe.
Yeah, he was actually a pretty key character in the Tuor episode.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's a Gondolindrum.
Yeah, go listen.
Círdan was also one of the, like, he's essentially the one who took in all the refugees after the fall of Gondolin and Doriath, respectively. And they set up their little refugee settlement at the mouths of Sirion. He was like the one who helped them like organize that and obviously help them build and stuff like that.
From what I understand, he was one of the settlements that wasn't like a major kingdom either.
Mm-hmm.
Like it wasn't like Doriath, the Sindarin kingdom. It wasn't like any of the Noldorian kingdoms around. It was just kind of a place where people lived. I don't know. If I could
people
live
chilling
anywhere,
on the coast, yeah.
I would probably want to live with Círdan. It seemed like a nice place.
Yeah.
But he was so while Morgoth targeted and destroyed all of the kingdoms around in Beleriand, he was basically the one that took all the refugees. They all just went west to the coast.
Yeah, and so for the remainder of the first stage, he hung out in the island of Valar.
Yeah, after the events with the Sons of Feanor at the end of the first stage, where they found out that there was a Silmaril there amongst the refugees, and they came and attacked everyone. Yeah, that kind of broke everything up, and Círdan went into a little bit of a retirement for a while. There was an island of Valar, right off the coast.
Mm-hmm. And well, once the world has changed, also Círdan's kind of got to leave that area because it gets destroyed. So he moves further down the coast into what used to be Osiriand, which is now
the new western coast of Middle Earth.
Yeah, the new western coast of Middle Earth. And so he sets up 3 different havens, Forland, Harland, and Mithlond. It's in the what they call now Lindon, which used to be Osiriand.
Right, the wonderful, beautiful green land of rivers where actually Beren and Luthien once retired.
Yeah, that's where they died there.
Yeah,
they lived out the rest of their days there.
So during this time, this is also when Numenor came to be a thing.
Right. Yeah, we haven't talked much about Numenor. Numenor is the kingdom that is gifted by the Valar to men, and they're ruled by Elros, who is Elrond's brother, Eärendil's son. And they create this huge the best kingdom of men, and they start to get curious, and they start to sail east.
Yeah, you could say this is probably one of the most prosperous times for men.
Oh, definitely. I'd say hands down the
I mean, they were blessed with long lifespans at this point, and they had this amazing island that was built just for them and had like all the resources they needed. And this was during a time when they were still like the Numenorians were friends with the elves, and elves would sail
and,
over
elves
from
would
Valinor,
come over
right?
from Valinor. They would hang out. They would teach
Middle
each
Earth.
other shit.
Yeah, it was a midway between Middle Earth and Valinor, and everyone was happy and friendly. Anyway, great time.
And the only stipulation was like you can sail. The Valar are like, yeah, you can sail anywhere, man. You can sail everywhere, except west. Don't sail west. East, go east as far as you want, my friends. Just don't go west. And that was the only stipulation. But other than that, they pretty much colonized. There's a cool if anybody has the Atlas of Middle Earth by Karen Fonstad, there's a map of the voyages of the Numenorians, which we'll probably post once we talk more about the Numenorians.
Yeah, we wanted to talk about the Numenorians in season 1, but we wanted to, I guess, kind of clean up the first stage since we started talking about that a lot.
Yeah.
And then we had to talk about Círdan. We had to.
So that'll be coming, probably season 2. We'll cover the Númenóreans.
Yeah, I assume so.
But anyway, so at this time, the Númenóreans are sailing over. Hey,
and
remember us?
Yeah, and so Círdan's kind of the one that receives a lot of the Númenóreans.
Mm-hmm.
There's some content in the Unfinished Tales.
Yeah, Eldarion the Mariner.
Yeah, the story of Eldarion and Erendis. It's a really beautiful, tragic love tale. But Eldarion was a really good mariner from Númenor.
From Númenor, yeah.
And he did a lot of really big trips over
he
to
was
Middle-earth.
he was the first one to do those trips.
Oh, was he the first to make the trips to Middle-earth?
Like Eldarion set up the trade routes and stuff for the Númenóreans.
Gotcha.
So yeah, he was the first one to really do that.
So he was that's a pretty instrumental role right there. Círdan was kind of like the ambassador for Middle-earth when dealing with the Númenóreans, and Eldarion did have a particular friendship with Círdan, especially.
And Círdan, since he received the Númenóreans, he also got them to be friends with his buddy, longtime pal, Gil-galad, High King of the Noldor.
Right.
So that was when this alliance between men and elves was kind of solidified.
Right. This was during a time in the Second Age. We'll probably get into this more in the future. The Second Age is a really interesting time because I feel like there's not a lot of content on it, but it's a really important bridge.
Yeah.
But this is when Sauron started becoming more of a problem again.
Mm-hmm.
If you go back and listen to the Sauron episode, you'll probably hear about this. This is when Sauron really started getting himself set up independently in Middle-earth after Melkor was gone. And High King Gil-galad knew this was becoming a problem, and these tales were being transferred, through Círdan, Eldarion, the Mariner. They'd taken him back to Númenor and were like, hey, maybe we need to intervene here as well. So Círdan, instrumental in connecting the Númenóreans with Gil-galad for the alliance.
Yeah, that's very important. But they do aid Círdan and Gil-galad in their wars against the forces of Sauron.
Yeah, Círdan himself was actually Gil-galad's lieutenant during this whole time. I mean, they're really close guys, and why wouldn't you want Círdan around? He's probably one of the wisest elves there is.
Right, he's been here the longest.
Yeah, he was the only other one to stand beside Gil-galad, even in fighting, other than Elrond himself. Mm-hmm. So Elrond, Gil-galad, and Círdan for a while were a trio.
Yeah, they were good. They were good buddies. So like Elrond was the herald of Gil-galad, and then Círdan was like his lieutenant, like his military commander essentially. And it was a good team up, and we see that all the way up into the. So we're going to talk about the rings first. Let's talk about the rings.
Okay. So this is when the rings come into play in the Second Age. So during all this business with Sauron coming back to Middle-earth and starting to reestablish himself, he's not quite where he wants to be. So you can listen to the Sauron episode for this again. But at one point, Sauron takes a fair form. He goes about it more mischievously, and he tries to get Celebrimbor to make these magic rings that would secretly give him some influence over everyone else so he can take over.
Mm-hmm. And this is in a place called Eregion in the Second Age, which is in Middle-earth.
That's kind of like north of the Shire area, isn't it? It's the area between the Blue Mountains and the Misty Mountains, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So that whole region in there.
I think it's a little bit further. Well, no, that was Holland. They called Holland. That was further south. Yeah. So Eregion is the area pretty much in between. Yeah. And check that. Make sure we're not fucking lying to you, but I think that's the case.
We can throw some maps up with this one too.
We'll throw some maps up here too,
just to make sure we are not spewing falsehoods to you. But so the first of the three rings that were made by Celebrimbor in this whole ring scheme. Mm-hmm. This is before the Ring of Power was a thing either,
and he made them himself.
Yeah, Celebrimbor made the three elven rings himself, so they were actually pure.
Yeah, they were uncorrupted by Sauron.
And those three rings, especially after Sauron's whole scheme was revealed, they got secretly taken and split up.
Because they had been wearing the rings for a while, and then when the other rings came around, and Sauron put on the Master Ring, they immediately knew. They sensed him, and they were like, "Oh shit, let's take these off," and they hid them.
Unexpected side effect. Sauron didn't anticipate that. As soon as he put his on, they were like, "Oh, yep, we know what's going on."
Mm-hmm. And at this juncture, Sauron gets throws a hissy fit, and he wants his rings back.
He's like, you know, if you're not gonna fall under my dominion, just give them back, okay?
No, just give them back.
Just give them back.
No, they weren't down for that. So, Celebrimbor, the one who made the rings, did he give all of them to Gil-galad initially, or did he just give 2 of them?
So there's
this is something that I've been trying to wrap my mind around.
It's contended. It's contested. There's different versions. So like in one version, Galadriel's given hers, and then Gil-galad is given 2
by Celebrimbor.
By Celebrimbor
Celebrimbor
himself,
gives
yeah.
him 2 initially.
Yes, and then so then later on, Gil-galad gives one of them to Círdan. But
Okay.
and then there's the alternate version where they're just gifted all 3 separately. So Círdan is essentially given the ring directly from Celebrimbor.
Gotcha. Yeah, so there's a version where Celebrimbor gives it directly to Círdan, and there's a version where Gil-galad is kind of like an intermediary. He gets 2 and he hands one off to Círdan.
Mm-hmm.
But regardless, Círdan is a ring bearer. He's one of the, I feel like, really not talked about.
No, they never. No, of course, Círdan is never talked about,
No.
especially in
of all
any
the
of
ring bearers. Like if you hear the names of any of the other ring bearers, even Gil-galad, you're probably like, oh yeah,
Yeah,
I recognize that from
yeah,
something.
yeah.
I think I've heard that before. But Círdan, who?
In it,
Just one of the most important fucking characters in all of
ever.
Tolkien.
And in the movie, they don't really. In the Lord of the Rings movies, they don't mention him at all. To the point of like, well, they don't even mention Gandalf really having the ring in the movie at all.
I suppose they don't really allude
No.
to that.
But they should have alluded to that, and they also should have alluded to where he got the fucking ring
Right.
from Cirdan the Shipwright, because you could have name dropped Círdan, Peter Jackson, but you chose not to.
Yeah, Peter. I mean, you even showed him in a scene and just gave him no props.
And no beard.
Where was his beard?
Where was the beard,
Where
Peter?
the hell was the beard?
Where was the beard, Peter?
Okay. It's all right, Peter. We're coming to terms with it
Well, yeah,
slowly.
we're working on it.
My anger management doctor is telling me good things.
And so once Sauron pretty much wants his rings back, he more or less conquers pretty much up to the doorstep of Rivendell. At one point, Rivendell's kind of under siege.
Yeah, he goes all out and just force.
Yeah. And so they form what's known as the Last Alliance with the men of Numenor, who after the fall of Numenor, they come over.
Yeah, so at this point, Numenor has come and gone now.
Come and gone, yeah.
So while all of this Sauron's coming to power stuff in Middle-earth, the Numenorians catch wind of it, and they kind of agree to they have some disagreement, but they ultimately agree to help out, but then the fall of Numenor happens, and it's a mess.
And so so the survivors, Elendil and his 2 sons and their troop of men, they go over and they help in this War of the Last Alliance.
So this is the prologue to the Fellowship of the Ring, right?
Right, yeah, where they completely cut out Gil-galad and Círdan.
Yeah, they showed Elrond,
Yeah, that's it though.
and that's it.
They show Gil-galad in the extended edition. They show him stab somebody with Aeglos, the spear.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's just one shot. Like they cut out one fucking shot of Gil-galad. I think they just didn't want to confuse people. Like, who's that guy?
Right.
Well, Gil-galad gets killed. That's the thing. Like Gil-galad gets killed in this battle. Gil-galad and Elendil are both killed by Sauron. And they don't, for whatever reason, in the prologue they cut out Gil-galad. But
Fuck it. He's just High King who kind of orchestrated the whole thing, but whatever.
right, yeah, it's not.
Nobody
he's
cares about
not
him.
Not super important.
No, we just want to see Elrond.
Yeah. Elrond. Hugo Weaving is Elrond, right?
Yeah.
And so in the War of the Last Alliance, Sauron is overthrown, the ring is cut off from the finger, and that's pretty much the end of Sauron for the time being.
Mm-hmm. And at this point, now Gil-galad is dead. He no longer has any of the rings. So at this point, the rings are gone to Círdan,
Elrond. And Galadriel.
and Galadriel.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so Círdan gets a hold of Gil-galad's ring.
So Círdan survived that battle.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
kept his ring.
Mm-hmm.
All the way up until the point where he met the wizards.
Yeah, in the later on in the Third Age here, which
early in the Third Age.
Early in the Third Age. So yeah, so the downfall of Sauron ushers in the Third Age. So that's when the Third Age begins. Right after that. And so now we're in the Third Age, and we're still back in Meathland, which is the Grey Havens.
The new western coast, as it is.
Mm-hmm. And he receives, like we talked about earlier, the Istari, the 5 wizards, at one point. And this is when he acknowledges Gandalf's wisdom and gives him his ring. And so, pretty much, all of the things that Gandalf did in the Lord of the Rings were powered by this ring, essentially.
A lot of it. Because, I mean, what is a lot of the stuff that you see Gandalf doing?
Helping organize people against evil.
Right.
Encouraging people not to despair. And overthrow the tyranny of Sauron, right?
Mm-hmm.
And fight for freedom and whatnot. And so Gandalf at least wouldn't have been as good at that without Círdan's help.
The influence of the ring. So during the Third Age, Círdan is pretty much strictly along the shore. He doesn't do a whole lot else.
No.
Hands off his ring, and then he kind of keeps a low profile.
Mm-hmm.
And he still does his ship thing up and down the coast.
Mm-hmm. Just, fishing, whatever.
Yeah, but he was a lot more behind the scenes, supportive character throughout most of the Third Age.
Mm-hmm.
He sent counselors to the White Council.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, which is totally cut out of the Hobbit movies.
And he was also... Did he send somebody to the Council of Elrond as well?
Oh, yeah, of course. Or
so,
he might have even been there himself. I'm not sure.
I'd have to double check that. I know he sent counselors
involved.
to the White Council, so he was supposed to have some kind of say in the White Council. All that stuff that happened in the Search for Erebor?
Yeah, in the Quest for Erebor. In the Unfinished Tales. Yeah.
A lot of the White Council stuff during the Hobbit times. That's really cool stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, you'd want Gil-galad's information there. Like what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, Círdan. We don't really hear much from Círdan throughout the Third Age. He kind of stays out of the War of the Ring, as far as anyone can tell.
Mm-hmm.
And but at the end, he is the one who builds the ship that takes the ring bearers over to Valinor at the end of the beginning of the Fourth Age, essentially.
The remaining ring bearers, anyway.
Yeah, the remaining ring bearers.
Well, except for one.
And who's that? Cirdan the Shipwright. He's the last one.
Well,
and then Sam.
Never mind. Because, Círdan does go over eventually.
Yeah.
But Sam gets shafted with that whole... He was totally a ring bearer, and he did a good job.
Well, he does go over to Valinor eventually.
Does he?
Just not then, yeah.
Oh, when does he go to Valinor?
Like, at the end of his life.
How does that happen? Is it fucking Eärendil come down on Vingla like, hey, let's go?
No, Círdan sends him over, and then Círdan leaves after that.
Oh, so Círdan even hangs out.
Yeah, Círdan hangs out
after the whole Grey Havens, where
he hangs out well into the Fourth Age.
Okay, for whatever reason I thought Círdan left with Gandalf, Bilbo, Frodo, Elrond, Galadriel.
No, yeah, he stays for a while.
Oh, yeah. Man, that would have been a lonely life.
Yeah, because he's literally the last elf. He's staying there to usher the remaining elves out of Middle Earth over to Valinor, and then he's like, "I'm gonna leave myself one when they're all gone."
And that was kind of the last. That's the end of Círdan.
Yeah, he goes back to Valinor, lives in bliss.
So he ferries over the remaining elves, and then does he go back with Sam?
I don't think he goes back with Sam.
Okay.
I mean, they don't say
that'd be
that
cool,
one way.
though.
That'd be cool. That'd be an interesting boat ride.
That'd be a fun friendship.
Sam and Círdan. Yeah, that'd be great. Sam asks good questions, and Círdan's a good guy to ask questions to.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
But that's all we've got for you about Círdan. He's one of our favorite characters just because he's one of the most important behind-the-scenes
pivotal
everything together, beginning to end kind of characters.
I mean,
he's the only one that's been alive for the whole thing, other than, I guess, the Valar.
And like Ingwe and all the ones that never left Valinor, they're still living. But
I suppose, yeah.
Of the elves of Middle Earth, he's the oldest, and
He's seen a lot of shit.
Yeah, he's seen a lot of shit, and he's been involved in a lot of shit. And that's why we really like him, even though there's not, like, we were trying to find a passage for today, and we couldn't even really find one that had, like, dialogue from Cirdan or anything like that.
I don't know if we get any dialogue from Cirdan anywhere.
Not that I can recall. But, yeah, so...
But he's so pivotal. Like,
he's so pivotal.
But now that you guys know, that is why we love Cirdan so much. We hope you enjoyed listening to us.
Yeah, and we will continue to name drop him, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's hard not to.
It really is.
Yeah.
He's everywhere.
Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, guys, this is the end of Season 1 now.
Yeah, this is the end of our Season 1. This is really big for us.
Yeah, this is So we're going to do... You want to do Tolkien Brawl? We got time, don't we? Yeah, we got time.
Throwing around a Tolkien Brawl for fun.
Okay. Yeah, let's do it. Okay, let's do Tolkien Brawl. We'll be back in just a moment here with our new game, Tolkien Brawl, which we did last week too.
All right. So we're back for a final round of Tolkien Brawl on our season finale here. We love you guys. Thanks for listening.
Yeah. So if you're unfamiliar with how this game works, we did it last week. We just made a bunch of fucking note cards with a bunch of random places in Tolkien, a bunch of random characters in Tolkien, and then a bunch of goofy fucking modifiers, which are like weapons or like conditions for the fight, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
And so what we're going to do here is we're going to draw one up, and we're going to argue both sides of it, and then you guys get to decide
who would actually win this brawl.
Who actually wins this. And you'd hit us up on Twitter or Facebook, and hashtag Tolkien Brawl. So here we go. Let's draw the first card.
So let's draw the place where this is going to take fight. On the peaks of Thangorodrim.
All right, high up in the mountains of Slag.
It's a nasty place.
Nasty place.
Draw 1 and 1. Oh, yeah. Oh, what?
All right, go ahead, Joel. Who's your character?
Okay.
Is this fun?
Are you ready for this?
Yeah, I'm ready for this.
I think we need to reshuffle this, but this is really cool.
Okay.
My character is... So we're on the peaks of Thangorodrim. My character is Huon the Hound.
Mm-hmm.
And Finrod Felagund swore an oath to you. So...
Ooh, shit.
Yeah, that's a pretty awesome team up.
Yeah. Okay, let's look at mine.
Okay.
Oh, fuck, though. Look at this. Sauron.
Okay.
Huon and Sauron go at it at one point. Let's see.
Huon
hopefully
does beat Sauron.
Yeah, and Huon does beat Sauron, so let's hopefully... And this is in the peak of Thangorodrim, so it's Sauron's home turf.
I suppose that's true.
So,
right.
Okay, let's see what this modifier is. I think you're fucked, Joel.
What is it?
This modifier is Nazgul. So I'm assuming I have at least one. So it's Sauron himself on the peaks of Thangorodrim. And we're talking like first stage Sauron, essentially. And he's got, somehow, he's got the Nazgul with him. At least one.
At least one.
But also, you've got Finrod.
I know. That's what I'm saying, though. Like, I think Finrod Felagund would, put up a pretty good fight against the Nazgul. I mean, he put up a pretty good fight against Sauron himself.
And a werewolf while he was naked.
And, he killed a werewolf naked. Mm-hmm. So, I know he wouldn't beat Sauron because he didn't beat Sauron in the sing-song battle.
Right.
So, my modifier wouldn't beat Sauron. But Huon did beat Sauron once.
That's true. So you had one person that did best Sauron versus somebody that put up a damn good fight against him.
But the person who put up a damn good fight, Mr. Finrod Felagund, is only up against a Nazgul. I think he'd... I guess I don't know how powerful a Nazgul is comparatively.
They say no man can kill them.
Well, good thing he's a fucking elf, so... I guess, whatever.
All right. Well, guys, we're going to do another one. Let's do one more. How about
one
that?
more. All right. Just
one
for
more.
Just for shits and giggles.
Yeah, hit us up. So that was Sauron versus Huon, and Sauron's got Nazgul, and Huon has an oath sworn to him by Finrod Felagund, and it takes place on the peaks of Thangorodrim. So hit us up with who you think the winner would be. Hashtag
who will win?
Who will win? Hashtag Tolkien Brawl.
All right, next round. So the new place for this fight is the island of Numenor.
Right on.
How appropriate.
All right. Who's your character?
Ready for this shit?
Yeah.
Ready for this shit? Character, Gandalf.
Oh. I raise you, your Gandalf, and I put you a Melian.
Oh.
Maiar versus Maiar, motherfucker.
Shit, this is going to be intense. Okay. Get a load of this modifier, though. So my
Okay,
character is
what's the modifier?
Gandalf, and my modifier is Gandalf has a Silmaril.
You're fucked.
What?
I just looked at my modifier. Melian is on cocaine.
I mean, I would argue Silmaril's kind of like putting your powers on cocaine.
Oh, come on. But
I
this
mean-
is... She's on cocaine. Like, she's a Maiar. She did a shitload of blow, man. She's schneefed. Like, she's...
She's schneef.
She's... I don't know. I think... Like... So the Silmaril... See, the thing about the Silmaril is, though... Melian's a good character.
You're
So-
saying Gandalf's a bad character? Is that
No,
what you're
I'm
trying to say
saying-
to me right now?
I'm saying it's a wash because
Okay.
it's not going to affect either one of them negatively.
So they could both use it to the same advantage, and it wouldn't hurt either of them.
Right, but I just
Gandalf's
think
got
like
it.
like Gandalf's gonna hold it up in front of Melian's face, and she's gonna be like, "Yeah, the light of the trees, seen it, helped create it." You know what I mean? Like,
Whatever.
what is she gonna? Yeah. So, I think a schneefed up Melian would beat a Gandalf with a Silmaril. I don't know, but that's my. And this isn't Numenor. That doesn't really.
This is a Numenor. I guess it doesn't really change anything.
Doesn't really change much. How about they're fighting on the top of the Melantarma?
That would be really cool. The high
yeah.
tower, the altar,
Yeah, the altar to Iluvatar.
right in the center of the island.
Yeah.
There was a big mountain in the middle of Numenor that was the only known altar to the actual one god Iluvatar.
Mhm. And the king of Numenor is allowed to speak on the top.
It's like their own
Of Melantarma.
Mount Sinai type shit.
Mm-hmm.
But-
Anyway, we'll talk about Numenor. How about that, guys? So this is the end of season 1. How about we come back to you and we talk about the fall of Numenor in season 2? How about that?
just
First-
all about it. It's a really
Yeah.
cool. It's got some cool history.
So we're going to cover that, and also we're going to cover a lot more Third Age stuff in the future, guys.
Mm-hmm.
So stuff more people will be more familiar with. We did the First Age because that's our favorite,
Right.
essentially.
The Elder Days.
And that's what a lot of people don't know about. But we're going to be talking a little bit more about things you do know about. So hopefully we'll get some good discussion going. We just started a discussion page on the Facebook.
Yeah. Tune in and join our discussion group
Yeah, join the discussion group. You can talk to us directly, essentially.
or other fans of ours.
Or other fans, yeah. It'll be great. Talk about anything. Just don't be a dick, right?
Yeah.
Don't be mean
Yeah,
to people.
Just don't be mean.
Don't be mean. But yeah, we like to hear what you have to say.
But all right, guys, that's all we've got for you for today and for season 1.
Yeah. So let's just do some thanks. Because this
Yeah.
is the end of season 1. So first of all, we want to thank our producer, editor, Cody Freitag, who we're super, super sad about because he's leaving to Texas.
Yeah. So not only is this the end of our first season, but we just got news recently that our good friend and editor and kind of our coach throughout this whole thing.
Right. He pretty much made this happen, guys. So
This would not have happened on our own, that's for sure.
No, we would just be sitting on the couch.
We would
talking to
literally
each
be
other.
talking about the same shit, just sitting on the couch with each
Yeah.
other, and it wouldn't be as exciting.
Yeah, and it wouldn't be exciting, and you guys wouldn't hear any of it. So Cody Freitag is the guy you want to thank for that.
Yeah, check out his streams that he's got going. He's got some stuff.
he's about to start up a streaming thing. So we'll probably plug that more in season 2 when it comes to fruition. Just because give Cody your streams, guys. If you like streaming, check out Cody.
Yeah, he's definitely he's definitely more into games. That's where we got the crossover with the Gamer Radio episode that we had.
Right.
That was a really fun episode, and apparently people like to listen to it too. So
Yeah, and because we
if
started out.
if you liked that gaming side of stuff, check them out.
Yeah, and we started out as one singular podcast, and we really weren't sure what to talk about. And I just wanted to do a single episode about Tolkien. And Cody was like, you know what, man? You should do a whole fucking podcast about Tolkien because you could talk about it
A lot.
a lot. And I was like, all right, Cody, let's do it. And
Yeah, it started off as like, let's do like a little bit of crossover in one episode. Then it was like,
Mhm.
no, let's do like one episode where we can just like talk all about Tolkien games. And then we're like, but we have to like narrow so much stuff down. And he's like, why don't you just
just do
make
your
a
own.
show?
Yeah,
and
just-
like even throughout this entire first season, it was the same thing. It was like, we've got to narrow this down a little bit. There's too much we want to say about it.
Mhm. Yeah, so Cody Freitag, we love you. Thanks for helping, man. You're the best.
You are the best.
And so who else we got to thank?
Let's thank our other friend Trevor, who came over from Gamer Radio.
Yeah,
He did a few.
He did a few features.
He did some voiceovers for us. He did
Yeah.
some narrating. He was part of one or two of our discussion episodes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Who else we want to thank? Oh, probably we'll thank my girlfriend, Savannah McGill. She runs social media, or helps run the social media aspect. She's good at that thing.
She's much better than either of us.
Yeah. So
We're not, cool and hip and up to date.
Shout out to Savannah. Love you. Thank you so much for helping us.
A newer member of our cast, too, a good friend of ours, Thomas.
Oh, yeah, Thomas Bailey. Thomas Bailey helps us do our videos. And, well, that's a cool thing, too, guys. Between these two seasons, we're going to try to put out at least a couple of videos.
Yeah, some fun videos.
Some fun videos. We got some fun ideas for, like, some sketches and stuff we might try to do. Just to promote the podcast and have fun, essentially. So look for that in the future. Thank you guys so much for listening. It means a lot. We literally sit here and we look at the numbers coming in and we're just like, I can't believe this many people are.
Dude, we got like 5 more views today.
Yeah. Like we're super stoked on it. So
this is exciting.
Every listen counts and we appreciate it. So tell all your friends about us. If
you don't have any friends, then make some friends to tell them about it.
Make some friends, or join up. Check out our Facebook group or our Instagram or something. Maybe you can make some Tolkien nerd friends on there.
Yeah, but guys,
it's
thanks
been
a lot.
Yeah, it's been real.
It's been a really fun first season. I hope you guys liked listening to us as we kind of get our shit together.
Yeah, and hopefully we'll be coming back to you sometime in early 2018.
Yeah, going to take a kind of a holiday break.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we love you guys for listening. Thanks so much. We're going to miss you. I don't know, we're going to go at least a month without doing this.
This has been such a Minnesota goodbye,
this is the Minnesota guy.
It's been 15 minutes of us just talking.
If you're unfamiliar with the Minnesota goodbye, it takes at least 20 minutes to say goodbye to anybody from Minnesota.
Yeah. You're standing in the door, about to walk out the door for about 20 minutes. Just
Yeah, and that's what we're doing here. But anyway, we're going to end the Minnesota goodbye. Thanks so much, everybody, for listening.
We love you. We'll miss you. And
as always, keep on Tolkien. I'm Danny J.
This is Joel N.
See you later.